Picture this. You have been saving money for almost 2 years. Not a little, a real amount, something you're genuinely proud of. You open your banking app and there it is, sitting there, safe. And then you notice the interest. After an entire year of discipline, the bank has paid you enough to cover maybe one tank of fuel. Meanwhile, rent went up, groceries went up, insurance went up. Everything around you got more expensive, and your savings, the money you worked hard to protect, has quietly lost purchasing power while sitting perfectly still. This is the moment that breaks most people's thinking about money. They did everything right. They saved. They were responsible. They did not blow it. And somehow it still does not feel like enough. Here's what nobody explains properly. Saving money is not the same as building wealth, and understanding the difference between those two things is what separates people who eventually feel financially free from people who save their whole lives and still feel like they're running behind. Today, I want to walk you through the real path from saving to investing. Not theory, not complicated finance language, a step-by-step process that normal people can actually follow. But before the steps, I want to explain something that changes how you see money completely. Your money has two jobs it can do. The first job is protection. The second job is growth. Most people only ever assign their money one job. They protect it, they keep it safe, they guard it in a savings account and feel responsible about it. And that matters. Protection is important, but protection alone will not build your future. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a team of workers, skilled workers, good workers, but you've told every single one of them to just stand in a room, guard the room, don't go anywhere, don't do anything. That's your savings account. Your money is there, it's safe, but it's standing still. Now imagine some of those workers actually go out and build something. Day after day, they create real value, and over time, what they build becomes far bigger than any single worker could have done by just standing there. That's what investing does. It puts your money to work, and the earlier those workers start building, the more time they have to compound what they create.
But here is the problem most people run into. They know they should invest. They have heard it before. But the moment they open an investment app and see a number moving up and down, something happens in their chest. Fear. Because investing means the number can go down, and going down feels like losing, and losing feels personal. So they freeze. They leave everything in savings, not because savings is better, because it feels safer. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Over a long time period, staying only in savings is actually the riskier choice. Because while you're protecting your money from market movement, inflation is quietly eroding its real value every single year. You are not standing still, you are slowly moving backwards. The path out of this is not complicated, but it does require a clear system. The system starts with two separate buckets. Bucket 1 is your safety money. This is your emergency fund, the money you do not invest, the money you do not touch unless something genuinely goes wrong, a job loss, a medical bill, a car that breaks at the worst possible moment. This money lives in a savings account, high interest if you can find one, but always accessible, always available when life hits. The goal is 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses, not your full current lifestyle, just the essentials: rent or mortgage, food, utilities, transport, insurance. Once this bucket is full, something important shifts. You stop being desperate, and desperate people make terrible financial decisions. They panic sell when markets drop. They take bad debt to cover emergencies. They make choices out of fear instead of logic. Bucket 1 gives you the breathing room to think clearly. It gives you permission to take the calculated risk of Bucket 2. Bucket 2 is your growth money. This is the money that goes to work, and this is where most beginners make the wrong assumption. They think investing means picking the right stocks, watching markets, reading reports, timing everything perfectly. That's not what this is. For most people, especially starting out, simple is the strategy. Low-cost index funds and ETFs hold hundreds or thousands of companies at once. When the broader economy grows over time, they grow with it. You are not betting on one company. You are owning a small piece of everything. Here's the number that makes this real. Take $10,000. If it sits in a savings account earning around 1% interest, after 20 years, you're looking at roughly $12,200. Now take that same $10,000 and put it into a broad market fund averaging 8 to 10% annually over the same period. After 20 years, that could grow to somewhere between $46,000 and $67,000. Same starting amount, same 20 years, completely different result. That's not a trick. That's compound growth working the way it's supposed to. The returns earn returns. The growth grows, slowly at first, then faster, then dramatically. Most people never see this because they never start, or they start and stop the moment things get uncomfortable.
Which brings me to the part most finance videos skip. The math of investing is not the hard part. The psychology is. Markets go down, sometimes a lot, and when your account drops 10 or 20%, your brain sends one very clear signal: get out. This is the exact moment that separates people who build wealth from people who break even. The investors who stay calm during a market drop understand something that beginners do not. A price drop does not mean your investment is gone. It means the same thing you were buying is now cheaper. Think about your weekly groceries. If the thing you buy every week suddenly drops in price, you do not stop buying it in a panic. You might even put a little extra in the basket. That is how consistent investors see a market correction, not a disaster, a discount. The problem is that most beginners do the opposite. They buy when markets are high and excitement is everywhere, and they sell when markets drop and fear takes over. That is the guaranteed way to lock in losses. Consistency over time beats timing the market every single time. So here's the actual path. First, build your safety bucket before you invest a single dollar. 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses in accessible cash. This is the foundation. Without it, one bad event forces you to sell investments at the worst possible time. Second, start small in your growth bucket. Most platforms today allow you to begin with $50 or $100. The amount is less important than starting the habit. Third, use simple, low-cost funds, broad index funds or ETFs. Low fees, no need to study individual companies. You're buying the market, not guessing which companies will win. Fourth, invest on a regular schedule, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, whatever lines up with your income. Automate it if you can. Remove the temptation to decide each time whether the market feels right. Fifth, stop checking it every day. Seriously, markets move constantly. If you're watching every morning, you're not investing calmly, you're creating anxiety. Your timeline is years and decades, not days and weeks.
Here is what most people do not say out loud. The biggest barrier to investing is not knowledge. It is the feeling that you need to know more before you start. More research, more certainty, a better moment, a clearer sign. But that certainty never fully arrives, and every month spent waiting is a month of compound growth that cannot be recovered later. Two people. Both start with the same income. One begins investing at 25. The other waits until 35. Over 30 years, that 10-year difference does not create a slightly different outcome. It can create a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because time is the one ingredient in this equation that cannot be bought back. Saving money gives you security. Investing money gives you options. Options to leave a job that drains you. Options to handle what life throws at you without going into debt. Options to retire when you choose, not when you are forced to. And the difference between a financial life that feels like a ceiling and one that feels like it is finally moving forward often comes down to one decision. When did you decide to let your money start working alongside you? Your savings account is doing its job. The question is whether that job is still enough. This video is for general education only and is not personal financial advice. Here on Ontim Finance, we explain money in simple words so that normal people can make better decisions for their future.
If this helped you think differently, subscribe and let me know in the comments where you are right now, saving, starting to invest, or somewhere in between.